Yeah, we back. Now today we're going to be talking about the big homie down in Burkina Faso, Captain Ibrahim Traoré. Matter of fact, I should say President Ibrahim Traoré. You know we got to show respect to the big homie. And today we're going to be talking about Burkina Faso currently has a gold refinery under construction, meaning that they're no longer going to be depending on exporting their raw natural resources to the outside world, to foreign countries. They're going to be refining their gold locally, domestically, creating jobs for their citizens, as it should be. Now, as you already know, in case you didn't know, President Ibrahim Traoré, he's one of the youngest presidents on the planet. Definitely the youngest president in Africa. I believe he's only like, 34 years old, 35 years old. And I remember sometime last month, I dropped a video on him because he was actually on the front line leading his troops into battle against jihadist terrorists. So, you know, the young homie doing his thing out here, man. So on my channel, I always show respect. I always show love to Captain, President Ibrahim Traoré. Now, let's jump into this article from Barron's.com, and I believe Barron's.com is a subsidiary of the Dow Jones Company, which also publishes the Wall Street Journal and a bunch of other different financial publications. Take a look up on the screen. Burkina Faso's military-led government on Thursday launched the construction of the country's first refinery for gold, Burkina's main mineral resource. The refinery will have a production capacity of around 400 kilos of gold per day, according to Ismail Sibi, the CEO of the refinery's co-managing company, Marina Gold. The first 22-karat gold bars will leave the refinery in 11 months' time, he said. This project will create 100 direct jobs and 5,000 indirect jobs. There's no longer any question for us taking our gold abroad for refining. We'll refine it on site because we know the real content of the raw gold that comes out. That's very important, Burkina Faso's military leader, Captain Ibrahim Traoré, said at the launch ceremony in the capital. For some time now, gold has been Burkina's lead export product, he said. Now, I'm going to switch gears into a different topic. Take a look up on the screen. As you can see, the headline, gold worth billions smuggled out of Africa. Let's jump into the article. Governments of gold-producing countries in Africa have long complained that the precious metal in their rocks is being illegally produced and smuggled on a vast scale, sometimes by criminal operations, often at a high human and environmental cost. By refining gold, in some cases, obliging producers and traders to sell their gold to homegrown refineries, states hope to capture value that is being lost. Some new refineries have invested in systems to ensure they process gold from legal and environmentally responsible miners. The only way to stop smuggling is by having multiple refineries in Africa. Billions of dollars worth of gold is being smuggled out of Africa every year through the Middle East, a gateway to markets in Europe, the United States, and beyond. Customs data shows that the UAE imported $15 billion worth of gold from Africa in 2016, more than any other country, and up from $1.3 billion in 2006. The total weight was 446 tons in varying degrees of purity, up from 67 tons in 2006. Much of the gold was not recorded in the exports of African states. 5 trade economists interviewed by Reuters said this indicates large amounts of gold are leaving Africa with no taxes being paid to the states that produce them. Now, one day, black men are going to have a conversation about the exploitative relationship that we have with Arabs. You know, one day, not today, because obviously, you know, black men are scared to death of Arabs for whatever reason. But one day we'll have a conversation about it. But not today, obviously. We're not ready for that. Not yet. But anyways, let's continue. Going back to Burkina Faso, the refinery they're currently building will have a capacity of around, to be able to refine 880 pounds of gold. That is good. That is good. It's a start. It's a start because in order to really understand the landscape of the situation, you have to look at who are the top gold refiners on the planet currently today. The number one gold refining company on the planet is currently based in Switzerland. Switzerland does not have large gold deposits in terms of natural resources, but they currently refine the most amount of gold. Now, that Swiss refinery is not owned by the Swiss. It's actually owned by a company that's owned by a company that's owned by a company that's owned by some dude in India. For example, take a look up on the screen. Valcambi is a precious metals refining company located in Switzerland and a subsidiary of Rajesh Exports Limited. Valcambi is owned by European Gold Refineries, which is owned by Global Gold Refineries, which in turn is 95% owned by REL Singapore and 5% of Rajesh Exports Limited. Valcambi is thus 100% controlled by Rajesh Exports, the parent company of REL Singapore. And Rajesh Exports Limited is an Indian multinational gold retailer headquartered in Bangalore. The company refines, designs, and sells gold and jewelry. It's ranked 7th on the Fortune India 500 list with revenues of $2 trillion. The present managing director is Prashant Mehta and the executive chairman is Rajesh Mehta. This guy right here up on the screen. This is Rajesh Mehta, the owner of the largest gold refinery in the world, which currently refines about 10,000 pounds of gold per day. Now, going back to what I said about Burkina Faso building its first gold refinery, that is good. But keep in mind, we're not here to just build a gold refinery. Black men should be here to be the best. So if the number one guy is refining 10,000 pounds of gold per day, well, guess what? We need to find a way to produce 15,000 pounds per day. Refine 15,000 pounds per day. The benefit we have is we naturally are sitting and walking on top of the goddamn gold. These dudes in Switzerland and Germany and the United States and India, they do not have the gold deposits. They must import the gold from foreign sources, from outside the country. They must buy it from gold producing nations. We are the gold producing nations, so we should be number one. Number one, that's the mentality we should have. It's not enough to just be in the game. It's not enough to just be in the game. We need to be number one. So if this guy is producing refining 10,000 pounds of gold per day, we need to refine 20,000. That's what it is, bro. That's what it is. I'm not going to be celebrating that we refining 800 pounds per day. It's not enough. It's not enough. We need to refine 80,000 pounds per day, bro, so we could have the championship belt. Now let's continue. Take a look up on the screen. Switzerland's refineries are top recipients of gold mined at industrial sites in Africa, but most remain deliberately opaque about their sourcing, according to Swiss Aid. The Swiss NGO published on Thursday a report mapping over 100 business relationships between African industrial gold mines and refineries around the world. Gold from over a dozen African nations ends up in Switzerland. The continent's largest three gold producers are Ghana, South Africa, and the Sudan. In 2020, Switzerland's 5 refineries accredited with the London bullion market imported over 177 tons of gold with a commercial value of $9.8 billion from African industrial mines. Now, going back to Burkina Faso, and not even talking about Burkina Faso, but all African nations that are high in gold production, right? Ghana, the Sudan, Mali, etc., etc. There should be no reason why a Swiss company has the largest gold refinery in the world and some random dude out in India is the big man in the industry. It doesn't make any sense. That's an industry that black men should have locked up, sold up, like on all levels. Vertically integrated on all levels. That should be one of the industries that we have cornered. We just have that shit on lock. But like I said, man, you gotta have the mindset in order to do that. First things first, it starts with the mindset. And big up once again to President Ibrahim Traoré for having the mindset to get this project started. Like I said, it's a start. It's good. 880 pounds per day refined domestically, locally. That's good. Let's get that number up to, 1,000, 1,500, 5,000, one day 10,000, and hopefully 15,000, 20,000. That should be the mission. That should be the mission for each generation to build upon what the last generation set as a foundation. But also going back to what he said about how this is going to create over 5,000 jobs directly and indirectly. Like I said, the gold refinery is a start, but you should go beyond just simply refining the gold. You should also want to produce the technology and equipment that is used to mine the gold. You should want to own the companies that is used to transport the gold. You should want to own the security companies that is used to secure the gold. You should want to control the entire economy surrounding the extraction, production, and refinement and the retail sale of gold, considering we are the gold producing nations. And all of that will create jobs, all of that will create profit, revenue for the state, increase the quality of life for the citizens, diversify the economy, and all of that will have a ripple effect, right? Because as the money's being circulated through the economy, you're creating jobs for the citizens, the state is generating revenue, now the state has money to invest. The state has money to invest in education, right? Because we need a skilled and knowledgeable workforce. Now we have money to invest in different sectors, the military, the medical system, our media apparatus. But these are things that cannot be accomplished in a single generation or by a single person. This is why we need to focus on continuity, right? So what one generation begins to establish, the next generation has to continue that work. It's like passing the baton. So if one generation builds some amazing shit, the next generation can't come and just fuck up the whole thing and just, not build upon it. Each generation has to build upon what the last generation left behind, because it's not going to be done in a span of 10, 15, 20 years. These are 50, 100, 200-year projects that each generation must build upon what the last generation got started. But anyways, man, before I get out of here, I'm going to play some footage from President Ibrahim Traoré speaking about this latest project of establishing the gold refinery. And yeah, man, run the footage. We out.
The first piece is a question of sovereignty first. In the environment of gold production in Burkina, for a long time it was said that we were not a gold-producing country. But for some time, gold has become the leading export product. We don't have control over gold, whether it is research, production, as you have seen, the refinery. We asked ourselves lots of questions, and today we decided to put a whole channel in place. You follow with the PEC. We want to mine the gold ourselves. And today we are laying the first stone of the refinery. It will no longer be a question of us bringing our gold outside to be refined. We are refining it on site. We know what the real content is. Therefore, raw gold. Who releases this is very important. And also it is necessary that through SONASPE, we are in the process of. It's a way of inviting local gold payers to bring the gold back inland, because the SONASPE is the structure that will buy back the gold, and that we can refine it here. A lot of gold leaves Burkina Faso fraudulently, and which also contributes to fueling terrorism. So we invite the gold payers, whether collectors or others, to bring the gold back to the central portion, and at the same time also invite its aspect to multiply the counters to be able to collect the gold. And in addition to this refinery, I hope that in the coming days, we have another bigger project that is underway.
Reincarnated, I'm back in original fashion. I left on a horse and came back in the ass, and I left with abundance and came back to famine. We used to be pyramids, now we be rapping. Look how the mighty have fallen. Used to be running, now we be walking. When you be cooning, that's when they applauded. Selling your soul, your sons and your daughter. Gotta come up in this shit, they stuck in the mix. Really, my heart it be breaking. That's why I'm stacking that paper and handle my business. Pass it down in generation. Talking about money and power and building a nation. That's a deadly combination. Never be watching the TV, they pushing agendas, falsifying information. Know they got malice intentions. Step in the room and I'm feeling the tension. Enemy watching, he blocking my vision. Pay for the check cause I need my redemption. Building my kingdom, I need it protected. Ready for war like a young Money Congo. Never decided the team is the motto. Up in the crib and I'm whipping up waffles. Up in the crib and I'm smoking gelato. I'm chilling, I'm taking my pain and make it ambition. I'm blessed by the gods, but I ain't religious. I came for the power, they came for the bitch. They making no hourly wage. I got business, this shit is an art, and they could never be taught. Selling my soul, I can never be bought. Play with my money, I see you ain't caught. Run to the check and I do it for sport. Babylon falling, I go to the source. Packing my luggage and go overseas. Shorty be with me and she so at least. Shorty be chocolate, I'm calling her Hershey. Secret intelligence probably gon' murk me. Don't fuck with friends, cause nigga I'm Haitian. Say the wrong shit and you're smacking their faces.